On the news, death toll in Taraba bomb blast rises to 6 as ISWAP takes responsibility. President Buhari orders rescue of all hostages in the captivity of bandits. And INEC presents electoral project plan ahead of the 2023 general elections. It's good to have you join us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. 6 persons have been confirmed dead with an unspecified number of injured following a bomb explosion that rocked a drinking bar in Mashaya Market in Iware community located in Adokola local government area of Taraba State. While confirming the incident, the Police Public Relations Officer of Taraba Command, Usman Abdullahi, said the fatality figure increased to 6, while about 19 others sustained serious injuries in the incident that occurred on Tuesday. Meanwhile, jihadists affiliated to Islamic State have claimed responsibility for the attack. In a statement released in Arabic, the Islamic State West African province said it had detonated a bomb, killing and wounding nearly 30 Christians and damaging the bar. The statement, translated by SIT Intelligence, which monitors jihadist activities worldwide, said the attack was revenge for the death of 2 of the group's leaders without giving further details. President Muhammadu Buhari has given a marching order to all heads of security and intelligence agency to rescue all hostages in the captivity of bandits across the country, particularly victims of the recent train terrorist attack. The president gave the order when he met with heads of security establishments and some ministers at the State House in Abuja. Briefing State House correspondents at the end of the meeting, which lasted for over 3 hours, the National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno, said a memo on the need to increase security operations along the vast national land borders was also considered. The NSA, however, stressed on the need for the larger society to be more committed to providing intelligence that could complement strategic security operations across the country.
Mr. President has directed all the operational and intelligence elements to rescue these innocent people immediately and unhurt. This is the basis on which other issues were discussed. My recommendations are wide-ranging and they touch on all aspects of security, starting with the level of security of our land borders as well as within the country itself. The most important thing for now is acquisition of intelligence. And the type of intelligence that is needed is human intelligence. And I need to make it very, very clear. I have to be very honest. Unless the wider society, right down to the local governments, are willing to give the type of information that is needed to block the activities of these criminals, this situation will continue to linger beyond whatever time frame we're looking at towards ending this great problem.
To talk more on the nation's insecurity situation and outcome of President Muhammadu Buhari's meeting with heads of security agencies, Kabiru Adamu, security expert, joins me on the news. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, the president has yet again given a marching order to security chiefs, but owing to the worsening security situation, Is it safe to say all we get are talks from the government and no action in solving insecurity?
Well, in this instance, there is a clear directive, and that clear directive is to rescue all host victims of kidnap for ransom, specifically the AK-29 train victims. Now, for me, that is the starting point, and I'm hoping that the coordinators within the national security architecture, including the Office of the National Security Advisor and all the others, about 5 others, will pick up that directive by Mr. President and break it down into key performance indicators that would allow them over a period to measure whether this directive has been achieved or not. That has been the missing link in the past. The president will issue such directives, but unfortunately, they are rarely fulfilled. So in this instance, I'm hoping to see a change. He's done his part. So the bureaucracy, the technocrats that work with the president, in particular reference to the Chief of Staff to Mr. President, as well as the other coordinators within the national security architecture, I'm hoping that they will pick up this and turn it into actionable items that they will use to measure on the performance or not of these agencies. But I think this is a good development. It's a clear directive that can be measured. If at the end of a period, say 1 month, we look at it and we see that the victims have not been freed, then we know that these organizations have failed. And so there must be some consequences for that failure.
With the country lacking in technology and human intelligence, is this an achievable feat? Seeing that the country recently commemorated the 8th anniversary of the abduction of over 200 Chibok students.
I do not think the issue is lack of intelligence, because I operate in the civil space. I run, a consultancy. If you pick up my report from December through to March, in all this period, I have mentioned consistently the activities of these non-state actors as they are operating in all of the locations that are currently being targeted. And I know that if, as a private individual or private corporation, we're able to gather that kind of intelligence with the little resources at our disposal, I'm almost certain that the public security departments have more. So I think it's the failure to use the intelligence and not necessarily the absence of that intelligence. Now, there was a particular statement by the National Security Advisor, and it's a very important statement, where he emphasized on human intelligence. Now, that is actionable intelligence that would pinpoint when these things are about to happen. Now, the onus is on the public security departments, including the Office of the National Security Advisor, to bridge the gap between the people and the government. Now, when you sit in your office and expect the citizens to bring that intelligence to you, it's not going to happen. You need to go out to them. You need to harvest this intelligence. And the best way to do that is to use the organizations that you are coordinating. So the SSS, as an example, they have personnel that are deployed in these locations. How come these personnel don't report on these things? What is the reason that is stopping them from reporting? The police, the civil defense that is in charge of private security departments, there is no house, no government agency that you go to that you don't see private security personnel. So when these things are happening, they know. But then how do they feed it into the national security or national intelligence pool or fusion center that we have? So those are the kind of things I'm hoping that offices like that of the National Security Advisor will look at. The intelligence is there. The challenge is harnessing that intelligence.
Well, indeed, Kabir Adamu, security expert, thank you very much for your time and your contributions. And now to political matters. The National Executive Committee of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has transferred its powers to the National Working Committee for a period of 90 days. The party's next transferred power during the 11th meeting of the committee, which was held at the National Transcorp Hotel in Abuja. At the meeting, the committee also approved the schedule of activities and timetable for the party's primaries in preparation for the 2023 general elections. Our correspondent, Abisola Adebayo, has the details in this report.
President Muhammadu Buhari arriving at the All Progressives Congress, APC's National Executive Council meeting in Abuja. It's the first meeting of party executives since its national convention in March. It's also the first under the Abdullahi Adamu-led National Working Committee, with party leaders and stakeholders across the country all in attendance. The order of the day is to take critical decisions and resolutions that will set the pace for the party in preparations for the 2023 general elections. In his address, chairman of the party, Abdullahi Adamu, resounded the importance of unity if the party must continue in its winning ways.
I recall Mr. President warning to us not to be unmindful of what happened to PDP in 2013-2014. Our party is not immune to a similar fate should it allow itself to be factionalized and weakened by grievances that force the leaders and the members to pull in different directions.
President Muhammadu Buhari also warned leaders of the party against the imposition of unpopular candidates for the elections. He says such dictatorial behavior had cost APC more than expected.
This dictatorial behavior cost us many strategic seats in the recent past. This led to some of our strong members, unfortunately, often to go elsewhere because of unfairly oppressive behavior of party leaders at state level. I must caution strongly against any tendency towards developing cliques, infighting within the party.
However, it seems leaders of the National Assembly are here to make case for their members in the forthcoming election. Senate President Ahmed Lawan explains that the 9th Assembly has done everything to support the current administration. He says one good turn deserves another.
We expect our party to also look at our members very favorably. Having done so much in terms of performance and working very cooperatively and assiduously. So I think the President said, or members of the National Assembly of APC stock deserve a very special treatment.
Survival and self-preservation is the first instinct of any human being. In terms of primaries, please let our members, I'm not asking for favors for our members, but let our members have a fair shake.
At the end of the meeting, which lasted for over 4 hours, the committee resolved to sell the nomination forms for presidential aspirants for 100 million naira, while the party's forms for governorship aspirants was pegged at 50 million naira. Aspirants for the Senate, House of Representatives and State Houses of Assembly were pegged at 20 million, 10 million naira and 2 million naira respectively. Abisola Adebayo, TV360 News.
Reactions have continued to trail the outcome of the meeting of the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) at the party's 11th National Executive Committee meeting held in Abuja on Wednesday. Rising from its meeting, the ruling party, through its National Publicity Secretary, Felix Morka, announced that members willing to participate in the presidential primary election of the party had to pay 100 million naira for the nomination and expression of interest forms. It also pegged the nomination and expression of interest forms for those seeking the party's ticket to contest the governorship election in their respective states at 50 million naira. Reacting to this, APC chieftain Joe Ibukwe, in an interview with TV360 Nigeria, said the decision made by the party executives was in the best interest of the party in order to select eligible contenders.
I think that there are so many boys in the field. Let me just do the name, let me just say it this way. So many people, lining up for the presidency that are not supposed to be there. So we need to raise the stake very high. In this kind of game, people will come. People are going to buy forms. Like Achiwaju, somebody bought forms for him, And I know that other people will have some other people. If they believe in you, if they believe that you have something to bring to the table, the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a very huge office. Nigeria is not a small country. So that 100 million commitment, to me, is not too much. If you are serious. It's not going to come from the candidate's pocket. Those who believe in the candidates will bring the money down.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has presented its 2022 to 2026 Strategic Plan and 2023 Electoral Projects Plan. The Commission said the objectives of the document are geared towards providing electoral officials with the needed support to deliver free and fair elections and strengthen the Commission's ability to deliver on its mandate. According to the Commission, the new document is guided by findings from the review of the 2017 to 2021 strategic plan, adding that the successes and challenges witnessed in the implementation of the last plan will form a strong basis for the new strategic plan. Well, moving on to other stories, Akwa Ibom State Governor and People's Democratic Party 2023 presidential aspirant Udom Emmanuel says he has what it takes to tackle the nation's security issues, improve the dwindling economy, as well as provide a robust human development capacity. The governor made the disclosure at a consultative meeting with the PDP National Working Committee at the party's secretariat in Abuja. While stressing that he understands the economy, the Akwa Ibom State Governor said the first respite the nation needs is to flourish the economy.
I'm standing here today that I understand clearly the economic issues of Nigeria today, that I understand clearly the security issues of Nigeria today, that I have a solution all in one on the infrastructure renaissance of Nigeria today, that I have a solution of human capacity development that this country needs. Why? Because I'm one of those frontliners that believe the problem with Nigeria is not unemployment, but capacity development. I'm one of those that do not stand by and tell people what to do, and will never tell how to do it.
Responding, the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Iochia Ayu, challenged the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, to have an open presidential convention if they are fit. Ayu also clarified that the National Working Committee of the party has no preferred candidates among the aspirants.
Only PDP can save this country. In the current situation that we are in, we have the capacity. We have 17 aspirants, each of them competent to run this country. The other party is a fragmented alliance. Very soon it will disappear from the surface of the Nigerian political landscape. They can't even hold a convention. They have a forced consensus where people are forced to sign. We are waiting for them to have a presidential convention. We challenge them to have a presidential convention openly, as we are going to have. So Nigerians will see the difference between a political party that is ready to rescue Nigeria and a disorganized political system that has destroyed Nigeria.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, President Buhari orders health ministers to submit reports on local vaccine production. Details of this story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. 6 persons have been confirmed dead with an unspecified number of injured following a bomb explosion that rocked a drinking bar in Mashayo Market in Iwara community located in Adokola local government area of Taraba State. This comes as jihadists affiliated to the Islamic State have claimed responsibility for the attack. We also told you that President Muhammadu Buhari has given a marching order to all heads of security and intelligence agencies to rescue all hostages in the captivity of bandits across the country, particularly victims of the recent train terrorist attack. Briefing State House correspondents at the end of the meeting, which lasted for over 3 hours. The National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno, said a memo on the need to increase security operations along the vast national land borders was also considered. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin, for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google+ at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Minister of Health, Osage Hanire, to submit a progress report by the end of May 2022 on the local production of vaccines in the country. The president gave the directive while receiving the leadership of the Nigeria Integrated Biopharmaceuticals Industries Consortium, NIBI. The president also commended the consortium made up of European biotechnology companies who are collaborating with the Nigerian startup PIA Biopharma Industrial Complex for the manufacture of vaccines and essential therapeutics in Nigeria. Our correspondent, Mary Kanu, tells us more in this report.
Despite the dwindling number of COVID-19 cases, the need for local capacity for in-country production of vaccines is still more urgent than ever. To this end, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Minister of Health, Osage Hanire, to submit a progress report on the country's efforts towards actualizing a made-in-Nigeria COVID-19 vaccine by the end of May 2022.
At the advent of the coronavirus pandemic, Nigeria was quick to respond to what seemed an existential threat by strengthening the health system's capacity to handle the pandemic, an initiative that continues till today in collaboration with the state government, private sector, and international partners. Increasing the capacity for in-country production of vaccines and medical supplies has therefore become a matter of not just urgency, but of national security.
While receiving members of the leadership of the Nigeria Integrated Biopharmaceuticals Industries, the President asked the Health Ministry to work closely with the consortium for actualization of the project within the next few months.
While the Ministry of Health continues to drive collaboration with investors and investors alike for vaccines, pharmaceuticals, and medical devices, in a move towards self-sufficiency, I welcome the Nigeria Integrated Biopharmaceuticals Industries Consortium's desire to partner with the federal government in support of our agenda and look forward to the implementation of the Nigeria Integrated Biopharmaceuticals Industries project as it takes shape.
Speaking on the collaboration between the European biotechnology companies and Nigeria, Chief Executive Officer of Fredlab Pharmaceuticals Villarugel Crias said the collaboration will hasten the development of local vaccines in the country.
The project will also contribute significantly to the reduction of Nigeria's and Africa's heavy disease burden. This is critically important given the current situation, whereby Nigeria imports 100% of its vaccine needs and close to 90% of its ethical medicines, and which creates every vulnerabilities for the country.
Recently, the World Health Organization and the Medicines Patent Pool chose BioVaccines Nigeria Limited as one of 14 manufacturers that will benefit from the mRNA technology transfer initiative designed to encourage the sustainable development of vaccines in middle and low-income countries. Mary Kanu, TV360, Nigeria.
I will take a breather here and return with more stories and business to stay with us.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Well, Abisola Adebayo now joins us for more stories and business. Over to you, Abisola.
Thank you very much, Folashade. Welcome to Business News. Telecommunication subscribers under the aegis of the National Association of Telecom Subscribers, NATCOMs, have said they are set to drag the federal government to court in May in a bid to temporarily suspend the government's barring of subscribers' outgoing calls. On Monday, April 4th, the federal government ordered telecom companies to bar outgoing calls on all lines yet to link their national identification number and subscriber identity model. As a result of this, about 72 million active telecom subscribers were barred from making calls on their SIMs. In response to this, NATCOMs urged the federal government to extend the implementation of the SIM-NIN policy by 3 months. Well, we'll take a break here and return with updates from stock market. Nigerian stocks continued its positive sentiment after seeing one of its biggest daily surges in weeks yesterday in extension of their newfound upturn. Today, the all-share index clinched the 0.18% gain, crossing the 48,000 level, while buying interest in consumer goods equities mostly contributed to the marginal growth posted by the stock exchange. Now, let's dig into the numbers and see the stocks that made moves today. Etana PLC and Berger led the gainers list as they recorded a combined ₦1.25 gain. On the other hand, SCOA Nigeria PLC and ABC Transnational led 12 other stocks on the losers counter as they also recorded a combined 32 kobo loss. Meanwhile, despite the gains in the market, it was a sea of reds in the activity chart, which is why we see 244 million units of shares valued at 3.1 billion naira exchange hands in 4,859 deals. Well, with today's performance, the index now stands at its highest point in more than 13 years and 7 months. Now, what comes next for investors? Anyways, we'll keep track tomorrow. On the foreign scene, London's FTSE pared losses to end flat as gains in cyclical and energy stocks countered overwhelming production updates from mining companies. U.S. stocks rose on Thursday after an afternoon panel discussion, including Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Japan stocks also extended gains to the third trading day as gains in major sectors led stocks higher. That's all on stock market reports. Back to you, Folashade, for the rest of the news.
Well, many thanks, Bisola. And on the foreign scene, a meeting of the United Nations World Heritage Committee scheduled to have been hosted by Russia in June has been postponed indefinitely after weeks of intense diplomatic wrangling prompted by the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The gathering, which was scheduled from June 19 to 30, was one of the few international events that Russia had booked after the war in Ukraine. The Russian envoy to UNESCO advocated delaying the summit, which was to be hosted by the Russian city of Kazan, and its indefinite postponement has now been formally confirmed. And now to sports. Manchester United have confirmed the appointment of current Ajax boss Erik ten Hag as their new manager from the start of next season. Ten Hag who presently coaches Ajax, had met with United bosses last month to talk about becoming the new manager and has now taken the role on a permanent basis, signing a contract until June 2025 with an option of a further year. The 52-year-old faces a huge task to revive the Red Devils' fortunes after a 5th consecutive trophyless season. And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.